Young Life is a place where kids can gather and have fun and experience the Lord. It brings people in to have fun, and they end up learning something while they're there.
As a teenager, there are a lot of things that pull you in different directions. There's a lot of peer pressure, and I find that being a Christian helps me stand up to those things. It's so much easier to say no to things that I know aren't good for me when I know that I have the Lord backing me up and I have my Christian friends and my Young Life leaders.
The world's very different and very much more complex. Having a way to chart your way through it, or at least some people that can give you your bearings, is very critical for these young people who are just besieged.
The first night that we took our son to his first Young Life event in August of this year, we were telling him on the way over there that, Wes, do you know we've been supporting Young Life for 14 years? You were just a year old when we were introduced to it. And he was asking, well, why would you do that? And we said, the first time we ever were at a Young Life function, we were so impressed with the leadership and the young kids. And your dad and I looked at each other and said, what a difference this could have made in our lives when we were teenagers. And we wanted to do everything possible to ensure that it would be here when you were ready for it.
The single most important aspect of Young Life is by far God and sending His message through leaders to high school students so that they can better understand why we're here and what our purpose in life is.
Young Life's unthreatening in the way Christ is presented to you. You come to club for the first time and it's just all this crazy, funny, off-the-wall skits and games. And then they do it real silly, but at the end there's that little 5 minutes talk, I guess, that one of the leaders will give. It's just kind of, hey, this guy Christ, he's a really great guy because he did this. I'll tell you more next week.
The people that come to Young Life, that's what makes the club what it is, and the kids that don't know Christ and the kids that do, and the leaders that are, there to be your friend anytime or there to, be your shoulder to cry on. It's just great. It makes you want to come back every week, and it makes you leave with a smile on your face.
I like to come and sing and watch the skits and see all of my friends being so involved in something that's so good to be involved in.
I'm considered a different person than most of the people that go there. Yet nobody there treats me any different than they treat anybody else. Everybody's nice to everybody. It doesn't really matter who you are. And
it's very happy. Like a lot of times people think of Christians and they think that you have to be quiet and solemn and serious, and you come here and we sing songs and we do skits and we laugh, and it makes being a Christian really fun, and I think it's important for people to be able to see that it's exciting to love the Lord.
I'm amazed at the energy and the devotion that the leaders have and all that they commit to. And I think that the kids that go to Young Life see that, and they really work on building a relationship with your child.
I love talking to the Young Life leaders. I know I can come up to them anytime and say, I really need to talk to you, and they'll be there for me. Whatever I say is between us, and it won't go anywhere else.
You can always call your Young Life leaders. I really don't think they have lives. Honestly, I mean, they do it all for us.
They're all just so great to work with, and they all listen to you and help you with any problem that you may have.
The Young Life leaders are wonderful. They're like wonderful role models and friends at the same time, and they're always there for me.
I think Young Life, it's really it's a good place to come and be with your friends and get a good addition to church, so you can understand what the pastor is talking about in church. For there's some people that don't understand, and it really teaches you a lot about God and His teachings and the way you're supposed to live your life and the kind of person you're supposed to be.
We very much feel like we're an arm of the church. We are here to serve the church.
And to help churches understand that we're not competing with them. It's the very opposite. We're trying to give kids either to the church or back to the church.
I have always found them to not only embrace the church, but support the church in their work.
Campaigners is just like a smaller Young Life club. It's for people who want to learn more about Christ or just want to be in a smaller group and have a little bit more input in the club. Whereas when you go to Campaigners, you can say, hey, I'd like to talk about this or that, and really get down into it.
Without Young Life, I don't know where I'd be. It just keeps you on track, and there's so many bad things you can get into high school, and without Young Life, I don't know if I would have followed in one of those paths or not. And I feel like I've stayed on a pretty straight course, and I owe it all to Young Life, I think.
Without Young Life, I wouldn't be half the person I was today. I would never have heard God's word through such a fun, outgoing activity.
I've pictured my life without Young Life, and I don't know where I'd be right now. I'm just glad I took the path that I did.
If I didn't have Young Life, it would be very easy to get off track and forget about God and the whole hustle and bustle of doing homework and going to sporting events and dealing with my school problems. But whenever I come to Young Life on Monday nights, it brings me back to the center, and I realize what's important, and I get my priorities straight. I don't know what I'd do without that.
And I think no matter how skilled at parenting we think we are, that we don't have all the answers. And anytime that there's a group or an organization out there that is compatible with your faith and will support your child in those issues, that's just an awesome thing to be able to support.
I've seen Young Life through the eyes of a parent, and I've also seen Young Life through the eyes of the community. And I believe that both are essential. We need to think of Young Life not as a product to be consumed during the teenage years, but an investment to be made for a lifetime.
Young Life has been the best thing in my life at Plant, and it's nothing social, like that's what it appears to be, and that's what people outside think, but once they come, it's just a gathering of people that want to learn more about God in a very indirect way. It's so much fun, and I can take the experiences that I've learned here and carry them on through the rest of my life. And it's wonderful. Every kid should come.